Hello everyone. So a lot of you would have received the news last week, and thank you so much for your just emails and notes and texts, and your reaching out just to offer strength and hope and your prayers. It's been really appreciated, and I don't have anything more to update on that matter or Javed's health or anything like that, at least nothing concrete. So that's really not the purpose of this video. I was fortunate again to be there with Javed yesterday with my parents and my brother, his wife and his 2 children, and just to spend the time with him, and again, just not try to be gloom and doom, but really just to have that quality time and to visit, to lift his spirits and all of that. It was a very nice time, and a photo from that trip is attached here. But I really kind of wanted to leave something that would be useful to them. I'm not a doctor, I'm not a healer, I don't have any magic powers. I sure wish I did, where I could just come in and say, bam, bam, tumor gone. Don't we all wish we had some kind of power like that? I don't have that. But, I was really thinking about the situation that Javed finds himself in. And of course, he is at the core of it. But the family is also kind of, dealing with this, his situation, obviously. And I was just thinking, and I was just like, gosh, where do you go, right? Because, there's this place of utter gloom and utter kind of despair that's really not where it's really where you don't want to be, because that's such a dark place. And yet there's this kind of there's other place of denial, right, where especially as people of faith, you can say, oh, you know what, God's going to come through, the miracle is going to come, and so you go into a denial phase where you just don't believe that this is happening, and you don't act as though this is happening. And so I find that those 2 places are actually very extreme, and it's like, okay, where do you stay? Where do you stay? And I realized that there's actually a sweet spot. There's a sweet spot. And like all sweet spots, it's not easy to find. It's not easy to find the sweet spot. And when you find it, it's actually often a very small spot. It's a corner, it's a sliver, a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, and you miss it. And I realized in this situation, the sweet spot is knowing that God is sovereign, right? And if you can just abide right there in that little sliver of a spot, and you say, in here right now, God is sovereign. And so whatever happens, my God is in control. Now, as Christians, this is what we hold to. This is our faith. This is what we believe in. This is just the core, of our faith, and our relationship with God, that He is in control. And, I encourage Javed and his wife to find that small, sweet spot where you just relinquish all kind of control, and you say, you know what, God, you are in charge. And so, yes, if a miracle has to happen, if healing has to happen, if that doctor was mistaken, if he was wrong, if there's something else, God is in control. And yet, if it comes to the place where, it is time to say goodbye, and this is what we have to do, and we have this opportunity to say goodbye, God is still in control. And I realize it sounds a little bit crazy. It sounds a little bit like, what is she talking about? It sounds like madness. And yet it was the only kind of sound advice I could give. Just abide in that small spot, in that small place where God is in control of the situation. I say it to myself as well, and it's going to help me deal with whatever is happening. I don't want to move to the left where it's despair. I don't want to move to the right where it's denial. No, I'm just going to stay right there in that place where God is in control. So I hope that's of some comfort to you. It resonated with Javed and Jen, and I asked them, I said, may I please share this, with the people, who are supporting you and following along? And he said, yes, go ahead. So there it is. Find the sweet spot where God is supreme over everything, and abide there.